Hey everyone, this is Mark and I want to take a few minutes to explain why I've decided to no longer be affiliated with Home Depot. Now, we've been planning a pretty significant video for this channel where we show you how we're going to rectify this problem with the front of our house. We have some stone veneer that's pulling off right above our garage. It's failed there because water and moisture has gotten behind the stone and it wasn't able to basically get away. So all of the metal lath that's holding all the stone on is rusting, at least in this one spot. So in order to fix this, we need to replace all the stone on our house, and we decided to go with a product that is easy for do-it-yourselfers to use, which is a product called Versetta stone. It's designed to be installed just like you would any other siding, and you don't have to have a mortar bed, you don't have to have the lath, and you don't have to have any mortar for the joints. So it's a really great product for do-it-yourselfers. The only real retailer we can purchase this through in our area is Home Depot. Now, we could go through some wholesaling companies if we had a business license for contracting work, but we don't. So the only option we have is to purchase this product through Home Depot. Now, before I tell you the story of what's happened, I want to make sure there's one thing that's really clear, and that is every interaction we've had with someone that works for Home Depot, whether it be in store or on chat or on the phone, every interaction has been great. So there's nothing against the people that we've interacted with at all. And in fact, I don't really have anything against Home Depot either, but the experience that we've had has revealed a major issue with their system, especially their online ordering system. And I don't want anybody to have to go through everything that we did. So that's really the reason why we've decided to no longer participate in the Home Depot affiliate program. All right, so here's what happened. So for our specific job, we needed to order 90 flats. Now, flats are basically just their standard panels. We also needed 19 corner pieces, and the corner pieces are supposed to be installed on the ends because the ends of these pieces are exactly the same as the flats. They just have finished ends where they're exposed. And then we also needed a couple of light boxes because we've got some lights on the front of our house that we needed to put back once we put in the new Versetta stone. So we had to have a couple of light boxes as well. Now, in an ideal situation, the process would go something like this. We go online, we'd add everything to the cart that we need to purchase, we'd place the order, and then everything would either be shipped or delivered to our house. Well, that's not at all what happened. First, the order split into 3 separate orders that all went to individual stores. The 90 flats went to one store, the 19 corner pieces went to another store, and then the 2 light boxes ended up being shipped through UPS to yet another Home Depot where we had to go and pick those up. So most of the order, the 90 flats, were actually being delivered to our house, which is what I specified in the checkout. The 19 corner pieces went to another store that could not be delivered to our house because it was too far away, so we had to go and pick those up ourselves. Now, in the grand scheme of things, 19 boxes wasn't a huge deal breaker because we have a utility trailer, we can go and do that. It's not really super convenient for us. I'd prefer everything be shipped and delivered at once, but because those pieces were at another store that was too far away, I thought, okay, that's fine, we'll deal with that. So we got a delivery confirmation email for the 90 flats, and we decided to have those delivered to us before we'd actually go and take the trip out and pick up the 19 other boxes of stone, mainly because we didn't know exactly how we were going to be able to fit everything in our garage until we were ready to have everything installed. So we thought, let's just wait, let's get the bulk of the order in our garage, and that way we can kind of rearrange things or make some room if we need to for the other 19 boxes. Now, I got an email from Home Depot saying that the 90 boxes were going to be delivered in the next couple days, and I also had a delivery window of when I needed to be home, which was between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. And that's a 14-hour delivery window. The only thing that they said in addition to that was that I'd get a call 30 minutes beforehand so I'd know when they were supposed to arrive. So all of my plans for that day had to be scheduled around receiving that delivery order. Now, with that, the delivery actually showed up at 8:30, so it was 30 minutes after the window they said that they would be there, and I never received a phone call. So all these things that I'm mentioning are kind of insignificant on their own, or you could kind of brush them off as being insignificant on their own, but it's really when everything kind of comes together that you see that there is a really significant problem with everything. So the delivery window is one thing, the splitting order is another. Now on to the next problem. So when the delivery finally arrived, I also realized the truck was too small for that type of a load. The lift gate that it had to go onto was too narrow, and the guys that were there had to rock the pallet back and forth in order to get the pallet jack out from underneath the pallet once it was on the lift gate. They couldn't lower the lift gate with the pallet jack on it, and they had to carry the pallet jack down, and then same thing happened once it was on the ground. They kind of had to rock the pallet back and forth in order to try and fit the pallet jack underneath it. It tore up the pallet. There was wood pieces everywhere. They finally ended up getting everything in the house, or in our garage, I should say. But I mean, it was a struggle, and I think, and I don't want to put any blame on anybody, but I think they probably damaged some stone in the process. Now, I also will say too, at one point in time, there was a gentleman that was underneath kind of the pallet as the other one was putting it on the lift gate, and I thought it was going to fall on him, to the extent that I actually ended up yelling at him as well. So it almost went off the edge, which damaged product, okay, that's not a great day, but I mean, that's one thing that can be fixed. But, you know, I mean, if you have all this stone that actually falls on a person, I mean, that's a really big deal. After everything was unloaded, I noticed one of the pallets had my name on it, and it had the number of pallets that were supposed to be delivered, which was 5. They only delivered 3 pallets. And I asked them, well, where's the rest of the order? And they said that was everything they had received from Home Depot, and they delivered what they were given. So I counted everything. I had 2 full pallets of 30 units, and then I had only a partial pallet of 10. So out of the 90 that I had ordered, only 70 were delivered. I called them and actually ended up using their chat feature, which was actually really great. But I chatted with them to kind of explain the issue that night. And since it was so late in the evening, they said that the best bet at this point was to call back in the morning, because the store where it came from was probably closed at that time or close to being closed. So it would be better to just call back in the morning. So that's what I did. So I called back the next morning, and per their website, it showed that all 90 units had actually been delivered the night before, which wasn't right. So I was really glad that I had contacted Home Depot right as soon as it happened. So I called them back, and through their chat feature again, and they ended up talking to the store where it was delivered. And apparently the store responded to corporate and said that, well, they didn't have any more. Now, per their website, I knew they were supposed to have at least the entire order that I had placed, in addition to an additional 20 or so units that would have fulfilled the amount I was short on top of that. But per the store, they said that their inventory must have been wrong, because they didn't have any extras in stock, and they didn't have any other pallets that was supposed to be delivered anywhere in the store or outside of the store. So in order to fix that, what they decided to do was to just credit me back the 20 units that I was missing, which, if this wasn't a full job that needed everything, I guess that would have been okay. But I mean, when you're replacing stone on a house, you need to have all of your materials. So I said, well, the 20 units, crediting it back isn't really going to help me unless you can tell me when you're going to get more in stock. With all the manufacturing issues they've had around the country, delivery issues and everything, they couldn't tell me when they were going to expect any more in stock. And so at that point, I decided to just have everything returned, because I couldn't start doing a job and then have to finish it at some point in time in the future. I mean, that's not realistic. So Home Depot agreed to come back to the house and pick up the order that I had, and that all went just fine. They sent the right size truck, they sent the right size pallet jack, they had a couple guys, everything on the pickup went just fine. But that's when things kind of started to get weird. I ended up calling the other store that had the 19 flats, explained everything to them. They were really easy to work with. They understood completely, and they canceled my order no problem. Now, that leaves the third order, or the third part of the order, which were the light boxes. Those were being shipped UPS to a local Home Depot where I was supposed to go and pick those up. Now, those hadn't arrived yet, but I noticed on the statement online that everything had been credited back to my account except for the light boxes, which made sense. And there was another like $600 that was being held. So that was a little bit odd to me. So I ended up having to contact Home Depot yet again. Their response to that was, well, once the light boxes come in, then I needed to either pick those up or cancel that order as well, and then everything would clear out. So I waited for them to show up in the store. I called them up. I said, hey, I'm not going to pick these up, kind of explain the story. And they said, no problem, we'll cancel it. They canceled the light boxes. I got the $70 some credited back, but I was still short over $600. So I thought, well, okay, so they said it would clear out after everything was done. I'll just have to wait a little bit. So I waited a few days. The rest of the money was still not credited. Now, at this point, everything has been returned. but I'm still short over $600 from the order, and I don't have anything to show for it, right? I don't have anything from this at this point. So I ended up calling Home Depot corporate again, chatted with another representative, and they said, okay, well, we'll open an investigation with our investigations team. So I did that. I got a case number and everything, and I waited another week, and I hadn't heard back, so I called Home Depot corporate again. I said, I'd like to check back on this. I have a case number. Here's my order number. And they said, oh, well, it shows here that part of your order was made in cash, so you actually have to go to the store to get the rest of your money. I didn't pay in cash. That's not a thing. You can't pay in cash online. And so that was really confusing. And the other thing that was confusing was I said, okay, well, this went to 3 separate stores. Which Home Depot do I need to go to in order to get this taken care of? And thankfully they said any Home Depot would be fine, any Home Depot that actually was in on this order. So I went to the one that was closest to me, and I went there and explained my situation again to them. And again, everybody was really nice that was there to help me, but it took them over an hour to get everything resolved. It turns out everything was fine except for 2 pieces. One was the delivery charge. That was shown that was actually in cash. Someone, I guess, put that in as a cash transaction, which made everything else on the order kind of get wonky in terms of the refund. But the other thing that was amiss was not only the cash part for the delivery fee, but also all the taxes were still being held. So it took about an hour for the store manager to be able to rectify everything and get everything entered into the system. He was actually locked out of being able to do it the right way, so he had to get a little bit creative in being able to make everything right for me. So I really appreciate his time, and I really appreciate everything that he's done. But you mean, at the end of the day, yes, I got all my money back. But I'm out an entire month of being able to get this issue fixed on my house. I had asked Home Depot if they could place a custom order with the manufacturer. Their response to that was they couldn't place a custom order with the manufacturer. They just had to sell whatever they got in stock. Now, I know Home Depot has a pro desk and they are able to work with contractors all the time. So for them to not be able to order materials from one of the biggest suppliers of artificial stone in the country just seems a little bit odd. Now, I'm not saying that that's Home Depot's fault, and I'm not saying that that's not true. I believe it is true. It's just something I think that could be potentially rectified, especially on orders like this. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars, and if I can't order it as a consumer that way through Home Depot, I doubt that any of the contractors could either, so that in turn is hurting both Home Depot and the manufacturer. So because of all this, I've decided to no longer be a Home Depot affiliate. Unfortunately, I can't really recommend Home Depot and put anybody else through an experience like I've gone through. It was hard enough for me to navigate that, and quite frankly, it's not really acceptable. All right, so that's the story. Hopefully Home Depot fixes everything. There were a lot of points along the way that I think could have made everything go a lot smoother, but it seems like the way Home Depot's system is set up right now just won't allow for that, which is unfortunate. So I don't want to end this on a bad note. Unfortunately, this isn't a very uplifting video, but I will say that I have a lot of upcoming videos that are designed to help you be the best homeowner that you can be, which is what our goal is on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed to the Top Homeowner already, I encourage you to do so, and I will see you in the next video.